Hi YouTube. I feel like this is a topic that has probably already been talked to death, but I haven't directly addressed it yet, so here it goes. Free speech is an issue that has been on my mind on and off for a few weeks now. Whether it was the protests against Milo Yiannopoulos, new hate speech rules on social media, or people violently protesting the very idea of someone supporting Donald Trump, free speech seems to be coming up a lot lately. What's got me thinking about it is there is a seemingly growing number of people in the West who genuinely feel that it's okay to try and prevent other people from voicing their opinion if that opinion is deemed harmful. Now, this obviously isn't a new idea, but I don't know if it's ever been so pervasive and so universally accepted by mainstream culture by way of the media. I've seen this behavior blamed on the left, or on SJWs, or on regressives, or whatever, but I'm not really interested in placing blame here. Indeed, I think you'd have a hard time finding someone not at least partly to blame for the current state of Western society. But first, let's examine the mindset of the kind of people who would try to shut down a speech by Milo Yiannopoulos. The basic idea is that looking at examples like the Nazis, it's easy to see how words, in that case the speeches and ideas of Adolf Hitler, could lead to horrible actions, namely World War II and the Holocaust. To these people, if Hitler hadn't been allowed to deliver those speeches, those horrible things wouldn't have happened. So if they can prevent someone like Milo or Donald Trump or whoever from speaking, they may actually be preventing the next genocide from happening. I don't think they literally believe that words are violence, but they believe that words can directly inspire violence. And the thing is, those words don't even need to be directly inciting violence to be dangerous. Looking again at Hitler, he didn't actually say, "kill all the Jews" in his speeches, and yet that is what ended up happening. So again, these people genuinely feel that by preventing bad people from speaking, they're preventing future violence from taking place. They think that if Milo speaks, someone somewhere will attack a trans person or rape a woman because they'll have been inspired by Milo's hateful words. This is how people can justify trying to prevent people from voicing their opinion and still maintain a completely clear conscience and be able to sleep soundly at night. In fact, these people probably genuinely think that they're saving the world. But of course, they're wrong. The Nazis didn't rise to power because Hitler spoke. The Nazis rose to power because the German people were pissed off. They felt that they got a shit deal at the end of World War I and their pride as a nation was wounded. Hitler merely harnessed that anger and gave it some direction and purpose. If he hadn't done so, someone else would have, or the people would have found some other way to express their anger. And it's the same with Donald Trump. People are sick and tired of being lied to by politicians, by their country being run by people who care more about the needs of corporations than the needs of the people. People are sick of pandering to political correctness and not being allowed to be critical of anyone who belongs to a supposed oppressed group or minority. People are angry. Donald Trump is merely harnessing that anger. Preventing Trump from speaking isn't going to make the people any less angry or any less fed up. Preventing Milo from speaking isn't going to make people hate feminism or social justice any less. In fact, the people who think that they're fighting for what's right by shutting down the free speech of others are actually hurting their own cause. What they don't understand is that there are people out there who are both good people and who disagree with them. So when they try to silence or belittle any and all opposition, what they're doing is they're driving good people to the other side. I mean, how many supporters would Donald Trump really have if there wasn't such a concerted effort from all sides to shut his campaign down? How popular would Milo be if he hadn't been demonized? And how popular will he become now that he's been repeatedly protested? If these people want Milo and Trump to go away, they're going about it in the worst possible way. Now, the media is another story. The media largely controls what most of society will come to believe is the truth about the world. If they portray, for example, the recent events in San Jose as two groups of protesters clashing with each other mutually, then that's what most people will believe. It doesn't matter that in reality it appears that it was mostly Trump supporters being violently attacked by protesters. If the media decides that both sides were being violent, that's what will be true, and the public will make up its mind based on that truth. So to the public, Trump's ideas must be dangerous because, look, he came to San Jose and violence erupted. So long as the media continues to align itself with these people who feel they have the right to prevent others from speaking, those people will continue to have power. The one weapon we have is, I believe, that if the average person, especially in America, knew what was really happening, they would be on the side of free speech. On top of that, the more people realize that the media is lying to them, the less likely they will be to trust the media in the future. But for the time being, the media is still an effective method of shutting down certain ideas. I mean, looking at the example of Gamergate, yeah, Gamergate got a lot of support, but I still think the average person's opinion of Gamergate, if they have one, is going to be negative because most of the media has portrayed Gamergate as nothing but a negative thing. But at the same time, the more this happens, the more the media keeps spinning things in a way that is counter to reality, the more people will lose trust in the media completely. Now, that might not be a good thing in the long run, because many people just don't like thinking for themselves. And if they stop listening to the media, they'll just find someone else to listen to. But that's an issue for another time. To bring it back to the suppressors of free expression, the thing that worries me is how common this line of thinking has become. I mean, how many countries have hate speech laws? How many people who otherwise would support free speech will defend these laws as necessary? So many people, especially in Europe and Canada, genuinely think that the best way to fight against, say, neo-Nazis is to make it illegal for them to express their beliefs publicly. What these people don't understand is that if you ban an idea, that gives the idea power. It pushes that idea underground where it can grow in secret. It also sends the message that these ideas have some validity, because if they were truly bad ideas, then they wouldn't be able to survive in the open marketplace of ideas. Yes, some impressionable people might be swayed by these ideas if hate speech laws weren't there to protect them. But if someone is going to be convinced by something like neo-Nazism, there's some bigger issues at work than just what they're hearing. And that's what these people are missing. That's what these hate speech advocates are missing. You can ban the idea, but you can't ban the feeling that makes people attracted to these ideas. See, the only way hateful ideas flourish is if there's a reason for them to flourish. If large portions of America weren't pissed off about the way they were being ignored, then Trump wouldn't have any support. So if you truly think an ideology or an opinion is hateful, look at the people supporting it and try to figure out why they are attracted to it in the first place. Then, rather than preventing that opinion or ideology from being shared, try to remove the reason for the attraction. In the case of Milo, if people really wanted to cut off his support, they would need to be working to reform feminism and social justice so Milo would have less to criticize. But of course that would require a level of self-awareness and self-reflection that most social justice types tend not to be capable of. But that doesn't mean we can't do it. If you're someone who's critical of feminism or social justice, don't just stop there. Don't just focus on how dumb feminists are or how awful social justice is making our society. Focus on why so many people are attracted to these ideologies in the first place, and think of ways we can solve the problems in society that gave them a reason to join feminism or a reason to become a social justice warrior. Because behind every hateful ideology is a societal problem that needs to be solved. You may not be able to directly defeat the ideology, but you can work to remove the reason for people to be angry and hateful in the first place. In future videos, I plan to explore this topic more. And I'm sorry this video was a bit of a ramble. I've had a lot on my mind, but haven't had a lot of time for proper video planning. This has been sort of a stream of conscious video as a result. Hopefully it's given you something to think about though, because that's my goal here. Until next time, I'm Positive Improvement, and I wish you all the best.